Hi, I'm Donovan Colquitt, and I'm on BABME, Being a Better Me.
Yo, alright, Donovan. First of all, it's been a minute since I've seen you. You are a personal friend since, I dare say, I think ninth grade. Ninth grade, sir. And you have made it so freaking far since then. So freaking far, bro. So and like just to let the listeners know, you created a book called The Scholar's Key. All right, you created a book called The Scholar's Key, and you had a little phrase in there. You said how you can unlock your dreams as a teen. Now, would you consider this book, first of all, just for teens, like just for people within high school, or would you consider it just for anybody?
I would not say it's just for teens. It's just a marketing strategy to get teens, involved with the book. So what I believe, and I've had my own calc professor I've had for a year, my freshman year. She read the book twice, and she every time she found something new to find inspiration from. So she's in her 40s, and she just loves the book, and she's actually gonna write a recommendation for grad school for me.
Yo, that is great, my man. That is great. Now, just so people know, who is Donovan Colquitt? It says on your book, and it says on your book all the things that you've done. You won the Gates Millennium Scholarship. If y'all don't know, it is a nice, big, hefty scholarship dealing with a lot of money. And then Buick Achiever Scholarship, the KFC Colonel Scholarship, totaling over $250,000. Basically, your school wishes they could charge you, and they still can't because you got too much money. You won all of these scholarships. You worked hard. You earned a 4.0 straight through in high school. You're doing, so far as I know, super well within college. And you published your book February 21st?
20th.
20th.
On my dad's birthday.
What up? And so far, I consider it a successful book. You already have two people who have wrote about your book. And your book, I just feel like it's still spreading like wildfire. And there's so many things that you talked about within your book that was amazing. There's one thing that you said about self-doubt, and you said it being the ultimate enemy against someone's success.
So I think it's a yes and no answers to that question.
Okay.
A lot of people do fear failure, but at the same time, I think you don't have to fail to fear or to have self doubt.
Yeah.
And when you have self doubt, it can be just feeling inadequate about what you're doing. Even though you're doing it, you're succeeding at it. You can feel inadequate, and that leads to like self doubt, lack of self esteem. You need to build your self confidence at that point because you're feeling like there's a lack in your life. But for fear of failure, I would just say you have to learn from your failures. You got to learn from your successes. Can't let anything get to your head. Can't be arrogant. You have to learn. You have to be a learner. You have to be a student throughout your entire life, and that's just a big part of it. Just being able to sit down and go through all the things you've done in your life, all the things that didn't work out, all the things that worked out, and just being able to say, there's another day. There's still another day.
Yeah.
And you can keep on pursuing your aspirations, your goals, your dreams, and have that big vision that you want to accomplish.
That is amazing. That is freaking hard. I've been having hard times just being focused within this meeting, just within certain things that I needed to do. And I wanted to know that I found out that the reason why people don't want to be focused isn't always that they can't, is that they're afraid of missing out on life, kind of. Because I remember you talked about how within school, and within the first couple of years, you were silent. You just went home, did your work, and then you were just to yourself. But you were focused. Like, some people, they're like busy people. They're like busybodies. They talk to everybody. And if they stay focused and get good grades, they're feeling like they're missing out on life. What would your advice be to those teens who are in school, or just anybody in general who feels like they're going to be missing out on life if they stay too focused?
Okay. So I think I juxtaposed a chapter called Be the Fun right next to that chapter, or right after that chapter. Because you shouldn't miss out on having the fun times in your life. You want to have those memories that you can cherish.
Mm-hmm.
On top of being focused, there's no negative connotation to getting good grades. You know, it's going to help you out throughout the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. And it's important. It's not the most important thing in your life, but making the grade is definitely, it shows people your character.
Yeah.
It shows people what you're able to do, what you're capable of. Not everything that you're capable of, but it at least gives you some kind of, I'm trying to look for the word, some type, a type of hint towards what you're able to do.
Yeah.
And just, what was it, being focused and missing out on life. I just think if you're focused and you put in the time, like say you come home, you do your work, and then you have all this time. Like I have a lot of time. 9th grade, 10th grade, and I would just play video games all the time because I had nothing better to do. But had I talked to more friends, I did go to like different movies with friends and everything, and you know, I still think about those days to this day because college is stressful.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes you miss high school, but it's just very key to have fun while you're doing great things, because that's, who says they're not very non-inclusive of each other, you know. You definitely have two at the same time.
No, I get you. Because you explained about a certain scholarship you actually won, which I didn't know this about you. I learned so much about you just reading this book. It was crazy. I'm like, what? I didn't know this. But you explained about a scholarship that you had to make a presentation to people.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to specifically tell them all the stuff you did.
Yeah.
Now, as I remember, you said you don't like presenting or anything. Yeah. Do you still feel that way? Do you still not like presenting? Or you kind of like busted out that stuff?
It depends on how the people that are there. Mm-hmm. If I have friends there, I can do it. If I have people that are younger than me, I can do it. When it comes to like business execs and stuff, I get a little nervous, and I tend to pull it out. You know, I tend to do well. You can hear the nervousness in my voice.
Definitely.
But yeah, I've grown to like public speaking just because it's a way to talk to others.
Yeah.
A good, effective way of communicating your ideas.
Yeah. So within that, you still had to talk about all of the things that you did.
Yes.
Which actually the whole scholarship, did it depend on how many things you did? Because if you didn't do anything, I dare say you definitely wouldn't have gotten that scholarship, because you said they actually tell us how did you find out about you winning the scholarship?
Oh my goodness. That was actually the first scholarship, actually one of the biggest scholarships I actually earned.
Oh wow.
Coming into senior year of high school, and I presented. It was on Prezi when it first started up, and that presentation, that special where you can zoom in and move everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did the bare minimum. I had some circles. I had all this text in it. It was a terrible way to communicate effectively or creatively. And I was just nervous. I was a nervous wreck. And I couldn't, for the life of me, I somehow did not stumble throughout the presentation. My heart was pounding like I had to be stumbling. And it was like the second to last, or 3 days before the end of the summer program. It was like a 12-day program, and I mean, I was up against so many people who were taking like 6 AP classes their senior year, or they had already taken 6 AP classes their junior year. They had 5s on everything. People could do the Rubik's Cube in 20 seconds. I couldn't compare. I could not compete, or I felt very inadequate. And I just didn't see myself winning the scholarship, especially when I found out, because I found out we were going to get the scholarship if we won right before the presentation. So it was just so much pressure on me. And the last day, the closing ceremony, they were announcing the speaker, or not the speakers. They were announcing who won the scholarship. They wouldn't call you by name. They presented you by what you were active in, and you know, about 5 people were called up. It was 12 people who got the scholarship, and it was about 30 people in the program. So, you know, they were calling up, oh, he's a super scholar, or this first robotics, all that. And when I still remember the day or the time, it was like, this person is involved in random acts of kindness for the National Honor Society. And I'm like, this is a joke, because I definitely did not present as well as the other people in this camp. And, you know, I went up on stage after they presented all my little activities that they highlighted, and my mom came up with me, and she was the only parent that came up initially with their child. So I walked up, and my mom was just crying because she couldn't believe that I won the scholarship, but she was just so happy that I won. And I mean, it was just history from there. It was the first scholarship I won.
Wow.
It was $40,000.
Yeah. Now, one thing you said also in the book, I'm not trying to spoil it for too many people, but one thing you said, it was in my chapter 7, but it was network. And you said something that was amazing. Success doesn't always come to the smartest person.
Yep.
Now, that is a quote I believed sparked such interest within me. What made you realize, wow, success you don't have to be the smartest. Like, you just have to know what you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
So, school always came easy to me. I'm talking about grade school, because college is a different monster. But I would say I've always known to, you know, never get arrogant, never get too self-confident to the point where I think I know everything, because that's a weakness. That's just, you know, your strength is being smart, but your weakness is, you know, thinking you're so smart. And so I think I wrote that based on like the fact that it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But it's not just who you know, it's what you know as well. And, you know, I was top 2 the first freshman year of high school, top 2. And, you know, as time went on, I still had a 4 point, but people were getting better grades or in more advanced placement classes. And they were just, you know, they were rock stars in themselves. And, you know, I graduated top 1%, but I was like number 6 at that point, you know. So I mean, I was still doing great, but people were doing better than me. I'm like, yeah, people are definitely smarter than me. I'm definitely not the smartest guy, especially now. You know, I have a 3.0 GPA in college, and that was a struggle for me, just because I went from a 3.5 Dean's List my first term as a freshman here at the University of Michigan, and you know, once I got into my engineering classes, the whole game changed. I'm just not too big of an engineer. I'm not the best engineer. And, you know, it's just, you got to learn from the fact that you can't give up on something that you really want.
So it's the press that you're equating to, you know, just trying to make it.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. I noticed you had this press earlier within your year, in high school, actually. I found out that you had to deal with, apparently, you know, what happened within the recession, and I found out like just your parents and your lifestyle had to change, and you actually had to move within the town. And what motivated you to keep like trying to achieve in school? Or did you fall back? Or what was going on in your life during that?
You know, I just rolled with the punches. It wasn't something that affected me academically. It was something that was kind of in the back of my mind at that time. It was hard to deal with. At the same time, I actually hated the idea of change, and moving was a big deal because we had been in that house since I was 9 or 10. and we moved. We were in this roach infested townhouse, and I made it work. It wasn't easy by any means, but it wasn't the worst thing that could happen to anyone, you know.
So were you thinking about, I'm in this predicament, but I could definitely be in worse predicaments.
Yeah.
And within that mindset, you were like, I'm not gonna let this affect me or even my future. Or were you even thinking that far? Were you just thinking, you know, I'm just gonna keep going? Were you just having a simple thought like that?
Yeah, I was just keep pushing.
Yeah.
My whole the whole idea of struggle is a very relevant concept in my life, but it's also something that doesn't hinder me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't keep me from doing what I need to do in order to be successful or just to be happy. You know, I'm very optimistic. I just have to stay positive throughout any hardship because, you know, at the end of the day, God's going to pull you through it.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that. I feel that. One of my other questions before I get off the topic of the book and more about Donovan is you talked about a quote that you said actually in your book. You said too many people allow themselves to get comfortable when they've completed their objectives. So I could say, and millions of other people who watch TV could say you have had major successes. Have you gotten comfortable with your successes, or like have you just been taking it up a notch? What more can we be expecting from Donovan? That's the new step.
Okay, well, I will admit I haven't gotten comfortable from scholarships. I more so got complacent with just life in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hit a point where I wasn't doing well in college, and I needed to regroup. And now, actually, one of my friends, G, he had this saying or this catchphrase or this motto, "Stay hungry," and he had that throughout the entire summer program and going into college. That was like the motto for the whole summer. And, you know, everybody was like, stay hungry at the end because, you know, you just got to keep going.
Yes.
Got to keep soaring and flying towards your goals because, you know, you got to keep going at, you know, reaching heights that nobody ever expects from you because no one's going to expect it from you but yourself at the end of the day. So you got to keep being full of surprises.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. Even, I mean, you can, and that just doesn't even feel like goes for teams. It goes for everybody. Like everybody who's listening, everybody who's doing something. Whether you're working out, I remember there's always been on and off again times of my workouts where I'm just like, I work out for a good month and then like right when I take 1 week break, I'm like gone for like 3 months of working out, and then I get back on. I'm like, what am I doing? And then I get back on. I'm like, what the crap? What's going on? So I keep going off and on, off and on. There's one thing within your book that you did that's so interesting. You put poems. You put your own poems within your book, and it's so interesting. Some of the poems that you put, and I definitely see you within these poems, each and every single one. When did you write these poems?
So I wrote them all during high school. You hear a lot of struggle in some of these poems. You see a lot of positivity in some of these poems. The overarching theme is that, you know, I'm only human. I mean, it was the best way for me to get the reader to get an idea of who I am as a person. And I just, you know, I got a book review and said it diluted the book, but it didn't dilute it for anyone but the reviewer, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to show people this is who I am. And the book isn't about what you need to do. It's not a step-by-step guide to apply for scholarships. It's why you should apply for scholarships, because I find that a lot of students, especially in underrepresented high schools or just cities, just where, you know, that message or that role model isn't there enough in their lives. And I want to be that person to help others I want people to see the greatness within themselves. And, I've done a lot of struggling. I've done a lot of growing. And at the end of the day, I'm just another person.
I noticed you expressed that realism within you, which I think is completely humble of you. Like, you're so talkable. Anybody could ask you about just what to do, and I feel like you'll just be able to answer. And I remember I read that interview that he said. It was interesting. He actually directly quoted this one paragraph that you said. It was like, I may be a Gates Millennium Scholar, I may be a Buick Achiever, I may not have to pay for my tuition, but strip me of all my titles and I'm simply another student who is trying to earn a degree of my interest. I am not my titles, my awards, or my scholarships. These are small details about my life, which I just found was super interesting, because a lot of people suggest for people to get good grades, get the scholarships, get the college, get a degree, get a good paying job, and you're living the American dream. But I noticed you kind of strip all the things that people are saying get, and you kind of want to bring it back to you're a person still trying to make it.
Yep.
And I find that completely humble. Like, what made you just want to throw them off and just say you're human?
Yep.
Did you want people to relate to you more? Do you feel like that's more relatable when people can look at someone and say, that guy's human?
I think I've just always been able to relate to people. That probably was a very emotional paragraph for me personally, just because whatever people wanted to talk to me, or whenever people mentioned my name, it was about all of these scholarships these guys won. But at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, that's not just who I am. I do plenty of other things outside of winning scholarships, because that was only for one month basically of my life. And I'm like, people are multifaceted, people are multidimensional. People have other things going on rather than just the height of their fame, their success. And, I had 15 minutes, but that was a long, boring, drawn out 15 minutes of being on the news. And I'm just like, this isn't for me. I don't like talking in front of cameras. I just want to be able to talk to people, because I like making people laugh. I like smiling myself. So it's just interesting that people are like, you're so lucky you won. I'm like, no, I earned them. I planned it out. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. It was all God's work. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was nothing but being prayerful and just having those prayers answered like tenfold, because I couldn't handle all that, it going to my head. I'm just not that type of person to just try and strategize. Oh, I'm gonna say this just for them to see this. I'm more so just an open and honest person, and I don't like to trick people into believing what they, that they're gonna get more than I can give them.
Definitely. And to end within the book, you said chapter 4, it was just be your best. And basically what I got from the whole chapter was being you, almost. Like, of course, everybody knows the phrase be you, because everyone else is taken. Like, you're just saying, just be you, find you, know you, get to know you, love you. Don't always hang around other people trying to figure out what they're doing, what type of phase you need to go, which is so hard for teens, because they're only about phases. They're only about, I feel like, just, we all had that phase where we all went through something, and we all had that phase where we all wanted to be a part of something and be a part of that phase. But I felt like you were just saying, be you, be your best. So knowing that, who is Donovan Colquitt to you? Like, if you wanted to know you, I mean, you know everything about you, but not everybody else does. Like, we know your scholarships, your success and everything, but what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What is your favorite food? Yeah.
My favorite food and my hobbies. I love chicken parmesan.
You're an Italian guy.
Parmesan any day. With plenty of cheese. I like cheese like that. I would say my favorite thing to do is probably to be in my zone writing spoken word or poetry. You know, I just started doing spoken word, but I've been doing poetry since 8th grade. And I would say I like to exercise. I like to be healthy. I like to eat healthy. I like to make music. I like to play piano. I like to just talk to people.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to have an outlet. You know, having many outlets in your life, just so that you don't have to. Once one door closes, you shouldn't have to shut down and not be who you are. But yeah, I like to do a lot. I like to walk. I like to explore. So I recently just made a decision that I wanted to get a dual master's in engineering sustainable systems with a specialization in energy systems. And eventually, or I'll probably start off doing something like consulting, just because I like to communicate with people.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to do, or what I want to take my whole life goal going forward, is starting a nonprofit in renewable energy.
Okay.
Starting a scholarship foundation for underrepresented youth, and doing motivational speaking. But yeah, the dual masters. Dual masters is just one of the keys that I need to get into that next level.
Just another key. Are we expecting a new book coming out, the sequel to the Scholar's Key?
Yes.
Wow.
We are expecting another book, but it's not a sequel. Actually, it kind of is a chronological sequel.
Okay.
But it's very personal. It's actually a secret what the details are, but it is very near and dear to my heart. It's something I'm still working on, and I won't finish it for a year after I graduate.
So we gotta be patient now.
Yep. It's the way to get
man. Oh man. Does Donovan? Not to get too much, but does Donovan have what do we have a girlfriend? Do we have what do we have going on here? Is Donovan having a happy relationship life? What's going on?
Yes, I'm engaged.
What? What? That is crazy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. When did this happen?
It happened in March.
March?
I've been in a relationship with the love of my life for 5.5 years now.
Wow. 5.5 years.
Yeah.
That is good to hear. That is good to hear. Well, thank you for being on BABME, BABME Talk With. This is Donovan Colquitt, the guy who has the Scholar's Key. Check him out. Give your shout out. Do you have a website? What can we check you on?
Okay. I've never done shout outs before. This is different.
Yeah, do you have a page? Do you have anything? What should we be looking at you for?
I have a website called www.thescholarskey.com. I have a Twitter, Don't Ever Quit, DONEVERQUITT. I also have another Twitter just for the book called Scholar's Key, and I have a YouTube, Scholar's Key Neck, and it's ScholarSkeynec. So that's the Kinect with no T. But other than that, email is scholarskey@gmail, and that's about all you can find me at. Just shoot me an email or tweet me.
Definitely, guys. All of that information will definitely be in the info box where you could check him out. You could check out his page, his website, his Facebook, all of that jazz. Follow him, read him up, read the Scholar's Key. You're actually also going to get the link so you can actually purchase the Scholar Key. It is awesome. It's great. Stay tuned. This is Donovan Colquitt. This is Micah Sanders. Being a better me every day. Stay tuned.